Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Strat Gamer here, providing you with a new Anno 1800 episode today. And this is part 3 out of 3 of a small deep dive on the Arctic, where we looked at all of the specialists and items for the Arctic. We already covered all of the basic needs, all of the heat needs, and public buildings. And in this last episode, some would say we will cover the most important thing, some would say probably the least important one, because we're going to cover everything else that is not, a need for the residences. So things like the gas mine that you can see on the top on the screen just now, but also things like the hunting cabin of the deep gold mines, which are very different from the normal gold mines or the normal hunting cabins. And so once again, many people say this is basically the only reason you are in the Arctic is because you want to get this gas, you want to get maybe this gold. So that could be the most important thing for you. Others may say not that much important. For example, if you're in, very, very end game, you may be producing so much oil that you don't care about gas. You may be producing so much gold from items that you may not care about deep gold mines. So that's a bit what we're going to cover today. And if you missed the previous episode, don't hesitate to check them out. One will appear at the top now, and I've also linked both of them in the description below. You can also feel free to join my Discord channel that is also linked in the description below. And please, if you haven't done so already and you do like my content so far, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel so you never miss another video and you help support the channel. So let's dive in. And I think you're all waiting for the gas mine, so I'm gonna be mean and not start with the gas mine. We're going to go a bit by order. And if you look the order, the first one is actually timber. Because yes, you can produce timber in the Arctic. I'm not saying it's very smart, you probably can do it a lot easier in other regions, but it's good to know you can sort of be self-sufficient on your timber needs and build it there. The lumberjack is used, of course, on timber, but not just that. If you remember, it is also used here for husky sleds, and in particular for the sled frame factory. So this is more important, let's say, than just the timber itself. So let's start with lumberjack huts. And there are some items. You do need also something which is a bit new in the Arctic versus all the other regions, is you need a fertility for wood. Yes, you need this forest fertility here. Without it, your lumberjack won't work. And the other element is you actually need heat. It may seem a bit counterintuitive that you need heat for a forest basically, but no, you do need it obviously for the poor worker that's inside the forest, so it doesn't freeze to death. So now let's look at the items, and we're going to use Control T to go into our items menu and look at a few of them. There's actually quite a few that you can use, and some are pretty useful. For example, this first one, productivity plus 40, workforce minus 50. So both of the bonus that you may want. Then the second we're going to look at a few times today. So I think there's this, yeah, here. So here it is. And why are we going to? So it's lumberjack and charcoal that we mentioned the last time. And productivity plus 50, so that's quite nice. And also the schnapps, 1 out of 5. If you remember, schnapps is one of the heat need. And then it depends on your goal. Do you want to decrease the workforce, or do you want to increase the productivity? So you have two choices, as you've seen in the previous video. The first one is the sharp sled builder here, which will increase your productivity by only 25%. And I say only because there's an item that will do more than that, but will also reduce your workforce. So that's really if you want the workforce decrease. On the other side, if you want only productivity, you don't care about workforce, then I would suggest to go for this one, because the productivity is 40 instead of 25, and on top of that you do get some timber. Once again, not sure you really need it, but still, that can be useful. Now, if we go for the sawmill, because we were talking about wood, so it's easy to go to the sawmill next. You will start with the first, which is the same, which you probably also have in your Sled factory and Husky factories. And you'll see that here they don't say sawmill, but it actually does work. The productivity plus, no, sorry, it does say sawmill, oh perfect. Plus 40, minus 50, so that's your, it does everything. Then the wooden, it's, why? Because productivity plus 35, so that's a great boost. And then there's not that much more, so you're gonna have to go with the music box. Here, which, if you remember, is the sort of jack of all trades, all Arctic production building, but only 20. So really not that great for the sawmill. Once again, you probably don't want to do it here. Now let's go into the mine, gas mine. And taking a quick look, the gas mine, similar to your oil field, you build one building like this one, and then you go here and you build on top of these deposits that look like this. Come on, it's taking some time. Look like this, you put it on top, and that's what actually is going to produce. They also do need heat, like most of these things. They require some steel also that you'll have to import, and a lot of technicians. So that's basically also why you want technician usually. It's just for your gas mines. So now let's look at items for the gas mines. And you know that you can do this, right? And you'll see that there's only two. Music box we just talked about, not that great, just 20%. Yeah, so you can do it. This one is a lot better. That's also why it's a legendary. Because first it will give you productivity. Second, it will also give you zinc and copper, which, if you remember, are needed for the oil lamps. So that's a great way to help with your oil lamps production. But all in all, these items aren't that great. It's not game changing, 40%, 20%. So that can be useful if you really want to maximize your gas. And in that case, what you'll probably do is also you'll try building clipping. If you don't know about building clipping, don't hesitate to ask in the comment below, and I'll be happy to explain. But yeah, not that great. So if you see this island here where I'm basically trying to optimize my population, I don't have any, my Arctic lounges are not helping with this, they are helping with the houses. Now, if we go back to the resources, there are two resources we haven't talked about. It's the prime hunting cabins, so it's not the same as the normal hunting cabins, and the deep gold mines, once again not the same as the normal gold mines. And we can see that quite quickly, so let's go to the old world. Now if we go to consumable, so a normal old world hunting cabin will be 1 minute for fur, right? Cost you 10 farmers. If we go back to the Arctic, now we're talking about 15 seconds, so 4 times better, and for the same space basically. So that's really good. It does require heat, and we're gonna see the items. Are the items as great? Maybe not. And of course you do need also the fertility, right? But that's the same in the old world, this fertility of fur abundance. So now if we do indeed take a quick look at the items, I don't know if that's gonna work here. What was the name of it already? Sorry, I forgot. Something prime hunting cabins. Yes, prime. Because you don't want to put hunting cabin, because then you're gonna see all the old world items, which is not what what we're talking about here. And you can see there's only one, only this music box of 20%. So that's really, really not great, I'll be honest. So basically the way to use these prime cabins is if you're in mid-game, meaning your old world and your old world needs a lot of fur because you have a lot of artisans, maybe engineers, but you're not yet at the point where you have many items, meaning that you can put tons of fur cabin or hunting cabins in the old world around one trade union, and they will produce a lot. So that's where you'll use it, but then end game you'll probably stop using it. And to be honest, it's a bit similar for the deep gold mines. If we look at the deep gold mines, once again, there's only this item, so plus 20%. If we look at the production, it's 1 minute, and if we go into our new world, and we go to any of these, this is 2 minutes and 30 seconds, right? So definitely a lot better once again. But on these ones, you can put great items. You can put these items here, or maybe even others that will increase even more, like 70%, 100%, and this one is 50%. You also have your plus 50 working condition, right? And all of these things you don't have in the Arctic. So that's once again the key thing. Maybe you when you're mid-game, you don't have items yet in the new world, or you have trouble really expanding a lot in the new world. You're gonna start a few of these deep mines, but after that, honestly not worth it. And that's why many people actually don't like the Arctic or say the Arctic was a bit of a failure. It's because the only things they're supposed to bring are actually not that great. So hopefully you like this small series of 3 episodes on the Arctic items. We did cover all of the buildings in the Arctic. If I missed anything, don't hesitate to share it, but honestly I don't think I did. And yeah, hope to see you next time with more episodes about Anno or other strategy games.